This has never even really been in the news, but it's a fact because I know the people that were involved in it, and I told you back at the time. Remember Vegas, the biggest mass shooting in U.S. history that they never want to talk about? That was Saudi Arabia with the deep state trying to embarrass Trump, and they ran the attack, and they had their arms dealer cut out that thought he was just selling them weapons, and he was CIA connected. And then what did the United States do with Trump? He went over there with a coalition of the reformers in Saudi Arabia, and they wiped out all of the leadership in the royal family, because there's hundreds of them, because those kings don't just have one wife. And they wiped them out, killed a bunch of them, took them to the Ritz-Carlton and hung them up by their feet, took all their money away, the ones that got to live, and said, you're on house arrest for the rest of your life. And if you ever try anything again, you see your brother here, pull his eyeballs out with pliers. And I'm not saying that's a nice thing to do, but that's what was done. And that's what the Arabs recognize and respect. That's the kind of war Trump has where you never hear about it. Trump reportedly had over 10,000 of the ruling class of Saudi Arabia killed. And let's just say pretty vicious stuff. You want brutal? It was extremely brutal, with our military right there next to the Saudi military. So they all kind of got down in the pool full of blood and became blood brothers. Just like you didn't really hear about the U.S. coup down in Panama last month, did you? Just Hegg says, sir, we've gone, we've taken over, we're pushing the remaining Chinese out. Good. Next issue. And imagine all the other stuff you don't hear about. So the old system of Saudi Arabia and the CIA and Israel running Al-Qaeda, done. The old system of the CIA shipping drugs in here and laundering the money. Trump says, you're not doing it anymore. And the New York Times says, if Trump designates these groups as terrorists and actually shuts down the cartels, that will destroy Wall Street. Remember the headline? Why Trump's plan to designate cartels as terrorist groups would be bad for the stock market. Pull the headline up. Everything Catherine Roth and Fitch has been saying on my show for 25 years. Trump's like, no, our business is not going to be war and fentanyl and cocaine and pedophilia and transgender surgeries. We're not doing that. And Trump didn't have full control of our military in his first term. Remember? Yeah, there's the headline, how labeling cartels terrorists could hurt the U.S. economy. Isolating U.S. companies from cartel activities could be almost impossible, given that the criminal groups operate in sectors like agriculture, tourism, leaving some American businesses vulnerable to sanctions. Oh, you mean mainly Democrat Party businesses? Because they're Republicans, the neocons, the Bushes, or drug dealers. But just like I told you when Doge got into all the hundreds of billions a year stolen of EPA and USAID and other money, I said it's over 90% going to Democrats. That's the rule of thumb. It was 93% to them. And Trump's like, no, I don't want heroin and cocaine and fentanyl money running our country. So we got drug addicts and homeless and criminals everywhere and society falling apart. Yeah, Trump doesn't like that. So it just goes on and on. This is the real global political realignment, the real cultural realignment.